Good afternoon. This is Sunshine Reports. My name is Timileyin Falade. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has reinforced his clamor for state police as key to tackling the security meltdown confronting the country. The governor spoke when he received the 1968-1972 set of the Loyola College Ibadan, Oyo State in Akure, saying the current single command of police structure can no longer cope with the worsening security siege. Akeredolu, who is also a member of the set, described the bloody attack as a sad commentary on the nation's security architecture, which cannot be forgotten in a hurry. Government House correspondent Wahab Ankole reports.
Mr. Ayodele Adigun, the 1968-1972 set of Loyola College Ibadan, was at the governor's office in Akure to condole with the government and the people of Ondo State over the unfortunate terror attack, which claimed about 40 lives and left several others injured. Dr. Oshin, who expressed shock over the attack, appealed to the governor to remain resolute in his determination to secure the state and the southwest region.
We gradually go to having state police, and yet our people are not from other parts of the country. Thank God they are beginning to see this is what you have championed, what you know you are the popular of championing this cause. We need it. We need to end all this lawlessness in this country. We have to make any progress. They talk about urbanism. They talk about sound. But you see, the problem we have in Nigeria is that we must take out this evil that is destabilizing Nigeria before we can make any progress.
According to him, the impact of the Amotekun Corps in reading the zone of crimes is huge. Governor Akeredolu, who described the incident as unfortunate, said the perpetrators will not escape justice as security agencies were making headway in their investigation.
Won't we be more committed to protecting ourselves?
Yes.
Let's have state police.
Yeah.
But that we have state police. You will find a way we will be advised to recruit more people in a particular local government to work in that local government.
Yes.
Because you have a stake. We must be prepared. Anything can happen now.
Yes.
This one so daring. They are daring. We have gone beyond Fulani herdsmen now. You have terrorists at the very level, and as they are paid, the swap is there. So that is when the three of them are combined, they work together or work in silo, they are dangerous. Salah is sure. So we want a while. I thank God for joining messages. And those who are going to go back, as we go back, I pray God to grant you joining messages.
Amen.
The governor appreciated the group for the visit and promised to improve on efforts at securing the state and its people. Wahab Bankole, Osrc News.
The Ondo State House of Assembly has passed the amendment bill for the establishment of the Ondo State Agricultural Input Supply Agency 2022 into law. This is sequel to the submission of reports by the Chairman, House Committee on Agriculture, Mr. Taufik Mohammed. House of Assembly correspondent Omoshilola Adesoyajayi reports.
Submission of reports by the Chairman, House Committee on Agriculture, Mr. Taufik Mohammed, preceded plenary, which was presided over by the Speaker, Mr. Bamidele Oleyelogun. Mr. Mohammed explained that the amendment bill for the establishment of the Ondo State Agricultural Input Supply Agency 2022 would address gray areas in the principal law and assist the agency in conforming with modern principles, as well as boost the agency's collaboration with research institutes within and outside the country. The majority leader, Oluwole Ogunmolashuyi, then moved the motion for the bill to be passed into law and was seconded by the lawmaker representing Akoko South West Constituency 1, Olugbenga Omole.
Let me use this opportunity to appreciate the entire committee that have been working tirelessly on this particular bill for several weeks. On behalf of the Honorable House, we appreciate you for the good job that you have done so far. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the motion that a bill to amend the establishment of Ondo State Agricultural blood reading and pass into law.
I rise today to record the motion that the bill to amend the establishment of all those states agricultural civil supply agency law 2022 should be passed to third reading and passed as a law. I so second.
The Speaker, Mr. Bamidele Oleyelogun, who ruled for the amendment bill to become law following the unanimous decision by the lawmakers, said when assented to, the new law will boost the state's food sufficiency drive.
Amend the establishment of those agricultural food supply agency law 2022 with authority same time passed into law. Those are the ones here.
Also, the bills for a law to provide for the establishment of the Ondo State Security Trust Fund and other matters 2022, as well as the Ondo State Education Endowment Fund Amendment Law 2022, were committed to respective committees on security and education for proper assessment after scaling second readings. Omoshiliola Adesoya Ajayi, Osrc News.
As the 2022 farming season begins, the Ondo State government has flagged off the distribution of 2 million cocoa seedlings and other farming inputs to farmers. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, who performed the ceremony at Ilaramokin in the Federal Local Government area, assured that this administration will continue to partner agro and allied investors towards boosting food sufficiency. Represented by the Deputy Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa, the governor, who stressed the essence of the ceremony, urged farmers to always embrace every opportunity of involving their skills in modern method of agricultural practices, while reiterating his administration's commitment to rural and access roads rehabilitation. Governor Akeredolu said government must always strive at creating an enabling environment for farmers to thrive.
Cassava, cocoa, fishery, covering so many areas of farming. These are very important. Education is important because nothing is static in this world. And Tanjalo. There will be great harvest this year. We have some chemicals here for pest control at various farms. Another sprayer for spraying the insecticide and so that proper growth will take place in our farm.
As part of measures to make agriculture more attractive, Governor Akeredolu promised more financial support to associations in the sector. The Commissioner for Agriculture and Forestry, Olayato Aribo, earlier lauded the state government for initiating programs geared towards making farmers of the state the best in agricultural sector. In the wake of recent economic and security challenges in Nigeria, Christian faithful have been charged to be spiritually alive to the commandments of God in order to find solace. The charge was given at the monthly fasting and prayer program of the Ondo State Christian Welfare Board held in Akure. Joy Pius completes the story.
It was another avenue for Christians from various denominations in Akure, the Ondo State capital, to gather for the monthly fasting and prayer program at Ondo State Christian Welfare Board in Akure. In a sermon titled, "Except a Man is Born Again," the chairman, Christian Association of Nigeria, Ondo State Chapter, Reverend Father Anselm Ologunwa, called on believers to strive towards renewing the Spirit of God within them.
Are we deserving a reward or punishment? Heaven or hell? When someone does a crime, the law says that they must be punished. Is that not so? Yes. We want the criminals to be punished. We always, the criminals must be brought to justice. Well, what about if the criminal is you? And the Lord is ready to watch us clean, if we repent and go back to Him. Our nation must go back to God. We have sinned against the only God of the universe, and we deserve His wrath. A good judge will sentence a criminal, and an evil judge will not.
The chairman of Ondo State Christian Welfare Board, Very Reverend Raphael Agbola, craved holiness as a step to aid the efficacy of prayers for Nigeria.
Be ye holy, as your heavenly Father is also holy. So that is what God demands from us, to live a life without sin. A life without sin, that when you ask anything from God, God will be delighted to listen to you. And it is important for all Christians that want God to listen to them, to live a holy life.
Participants at the event said it was time Christians set their own rights in order to bring positive turnaround in Ondo State and the country at large.
Change must start from me. I need a change in my attitude. I need a change in my behavior, because if I change, then the nation will change. So I must go back and have a soul search. Am I really born again?
A special prayer session was held for Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, the state and the country.
Pastor David Anifawoshe of Bible Believers Church and 4 others who allegedly kidnapped 77 members of his church have been arraigned before an Akure magistrate in Ondo State. The case came up for mention today as the defense counsel, Ayodele Oladele, pleaded for time to go through the application, asking the court to remand the suspects. Juliet Buna reports.
Last week, Saturday, Nigerians woke up to the news of a pastor, David Anifawoshe, and others abhorring 23 children, 54 adults, at a dungeon in his church at Ondo City. After preliminary investigations by the police, the 5 suspects are now having their days before the court in Akure. They were brought before a magistrate court for first hearing. Counsel to the complainant, who is also the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice in Ondo State, tendered a file for remand application, a move which was cancelled by the defense counsel Ayoola Oladele on the grounds that he was not in the know before his appearance in court. Mr. Oladele prayed the court to adjourn the case to allow him to react to the application. After hearing both arguments, Magistrate Rashidat Yakubu, citing Section 269 of Administration of Criminal Justice Law, ruled that the case be adjourned to avail the defense counsel react to the remand application. Counsel to the complainant, Sir Charles Titiloye, while reacting to the ruling, said Department of Public Prosecution will issue legal advice after the application for remand has been granted.
The suspects who were arrested in respect of the Ondo church incident were brought before the court to be arraigned, and then their counsel is of the opinion that they need to be given adequate time to respond to the remand application, and then the court was of the opinion that they are entitled to react to the remand application, because we are seeking that they should be remanded in prison while we look into the case, especially illegal advice from the office of DPP. And then ordinarily the case that was brought before this court is a case which this court has no jurisdiction, being a magistrate court. But the provision of the ACGL permit this court to remand them in prison while the office of DPP will issue the legal advice. So in the process of remanding them, counsel require for more time to study the application to remand them. And so the court has adjourned it tomorrow for us to take the application to remand them in prison before the office of DPP will issue a legal advice on this matter.
On his part, the defense counsel, Ayoola Oladele, said he would go through the application in the interest of justice for his client.
They ought to give us enough time in order to react to it. And they are just putting it in my hand in the court. I can't even have time to read through It runs to several pages. So the court has to allow me, in the interest of justice, to go through. That right they are talking about, I initiated the right. These people were illegally whisked from their church.
Pastor Anifowoshi and his assistants were arrested by men of the Ondo State Police Command last week for suspected kidnap of 77 members of his church. The case was adjourned till Friday, the 8th of July, 2022. Juliet Buna, Osrc News.
Patients have been advised to exercise their right to know the side effects of drugs prescribed for them by doctors. Medical practitioners who spoke with Osrc on the implication of side effects from drugs harped on the need for physicians to also intimate the patients on the consequences of drug use. Osrc's Shahid Aribisala has more.
The relationship between a patient and a physician is said to be based on trust, a situation where both sides, and indeed the physician, is expected to prioritize the welfare of the individual seeking medical attention, while the patients on their path are required to provide needed information. But of concern to many in recent times, particularly patients, is the prescription of drugs by physicians without an explicit insight into the side effects of such on the patients.
Once they prescribe, we just go ahead to the pharmacist and get it. They never tell us they never told us the negative effect. So that's all.
Yeah, it's their duty, but you know, most times the next patient is waiting. So they may not give you the details. They dwell much more on the diagnosis, the examinations, and the treatment plan.
According to data from 2011 to mid-2017, the United States Food and Drug Administration received more than 5.4 million reports of prescription drug adverse events, including more than 1 million deaths. While different medicines can cause side effects of varying degree, a former permanent secretary in Ondo State Ministry of Health, Dr. Tayoni, said the onus is on medical practitioners to educate their patients.
No drug without, some other effect. Not necessarily adverse, but it may be unwanted effect. For example, somebody has a cold, you are giving, or some allergy, you are giving antihistamine. The thing is to suppress the allergy, right? But there is no antihistamine that will not make you drowsy. It's just that the degree of drowsiness may be different. So you need to explain to that patient that this drug will take care of your cold, the common cold, but you are likely to have some drowsiness, sleepiness. And if you don't even tell the patient that, he will not know when to stop.
The chairman, Nigerian Medical Association, Ondo State Chapter, Dr. Stella Adegbeyingbe, added that patients also have the right to ask their physician the side effect of any medication.
I always ask my patients, what other question do you want to ask me? Ask now. What of that question do you? It's good to tell the patient. They have the right to know what you are treating them for. They have the right to know the diagnosis. You should discuss with your patient. This is the diagnosis. This is what we are treating you for. You are going to use the medication for this number of time. I will need to see you to see the effect of the medication. That's why we tell patients, we don't prescribe and you go forever. We give you time to come back because there are different drugs with different mode of action. There are different drugs that will, when you start seeing the effect of the drug, it takes time. So there are some patients you say, I want to see you in a week. Some, I will tell them, we want to see you in 2 months. Some will tell you, we want to see you in 3 months, depending on the type of medication or what the diagnosis is.
The role of pharmacist in the healthcare chain cannot be overemphasized.
It is the obligatory duty and responsibility of a pharmacist who will fill those prescriptions to look out for drug-drug interaction and side effects.
Most drugs are eliminated from the body after they had been absorbed and distributed around the systems. However, the side effects of such drugs may remain for some time, hence the need for improved awareness and education by concerned parties. Shahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
The federal government has declared Monday 11th and Tuesday 12th July 2022 as public holidays to mark this year's Eid al-Kabir celebration. Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola, who made the declaration on behalf of the federal government, congratulates all Muslims and Nigerians both at home and in the diaspora on this occasion. Aregbesola, while wishing Muslims a happy Eid al-Kabir celebration, urged Nigerians to take responsibility of reporting any suspicious individuals and criminal activities they observed around them to law enforcement agencies with the use of an alert application that has been designed to mitigate security challenges with prompt response from security agencies. He also enjoined Nigerians to be vigilant and observant of intruders in their communities. The minister assures all Nigerians of government's protection of all under the law, maintenance of law and order, and keeping the peace in all situations. The Nigeria Tennis Federation has commended Ondo State Sports Council for discovering talents at the grassroots. National tennis coach Ubani Mohammed made the remark during a tour of tennis facility at the Ondo State Sports Complex in Akure. He said tennis players from the state have always made their state proud, winning national tournaments and representing Nigeria in international competitions.
Since before, Ondo State has been producing a lot of players that made Nigeria proud. The likes of the present chairman, Steve Olagogi, Rolake Olagogi, named them, the Olagogis, they made Nigeria proud. And presently we have the even current Nigerian women champion, Anua Ayubisi. She's here in Ondo. That shows that Ondo State have a lot of abundant talents. And like I said now, the federation, the Nigerian Tennis Federation, under the presidency of Mr. Dayo Akindoji, Engineer Dayo Akindoji, he is going out for a grassroots program now.
Recently, Ondo State female tennis star Omolade Aderemi moved to the United States of America for more competitive action. And that ends Sunshine Reports this afternoon. Thank you for watching.